When it comes to the design, there is really one good way of describing the TabPRO 8.4. It's like a blown up Galaxy Note 3. With a pretty flat profile all around and only slightly rounded corners, it's a pretty unassuming design all around until you get to the back, which takes on the faux leather textured plastic originally introduced in the Note 3. The button layout is pretty classic Samsung, but this was the first line of devices to do away with the signature setup up front. Instead of a menu button with the tactile home button, there is a recent apps button to add to the simple multitasking. Power button and volume rockers are on the right side when looking in portrait, and on the opposite side you can find the micro SD card slot. As far as the handling goes, this is really one nice and nimble device. Coming in at 331 grams, it's really light, and the thickness is only 7.2 inches right here. And also, as you can see in my hand right now, the flat sides and the rather thin profile, the more narrow and slender profile, allow it to be easily grippable in one hand. Primarily at the top and bottom of the screen are nicely sized bezels that do help with landscape handling. But with the capacitive keys so close to the edge of the bottom of the device, you might accidentally trigger those buttons. But overall, we're looking at a device that isn't at all flashy in design, is very Samsung in its look, but when you get underneath the surface, you find that it holds a lot of power. The 8.4-inch super clear LCD is the smallest of the Pro line, but comes with the same amount of power. The super high 2560 by 1600 resolution that makes for one of the highest resolution to size ratios on any tablet. With a pixel density of 359 ppi, and also considering the distance away this tablet might stay from your face, this is indeed a very sharp display and provides a great experience. Samsung proves its prowess once again with a screen that really exudes its colors well and provides wonderful viewing angles on top. Now you might argue that a lot of content isn't necessarily made for such a high resolution, but that's still not going to stop you from enjoying all of the media you might throw at it. Everything from YouTube videos to Netflix to even games like my current obsession, Riptide GP2, which looks great and performs wonderfully without any issues. And the lack of hiccups even during heavy gaming is due to the uncompromising power package inside. The Snapdragon 800 clocked in at 2.3 GHz and the Adreno 330 provide a snappy experience all around. It can be argued that TouchWiz, even this slightly updated version of it, still has its issues with speed and sometimes the stutters. But I will say that it is a little bit more noticeable here than on other devices, at least to me, but I believe it's because of the super high resolution that this tablet has to consistently pump out. Even then, however, it's not hard to get anything done on this tablet, and even in more intense tasks like using the multi-window, there is little to complain about when you have a powerful slate like this. Now, hardware takes on a media motif first, as we mentioned the micro SD card slot that can bolster the already built-in 16 or 32 gigabytes of storage, and that's always a big plus for people who love their media. Now there are dual speakers found on the bottom of the tablet right here, and they do perform pretty well, but for a tablet that has this much uncompromising power, I would have liked maybe a little bit richer sound. What I will say though is that it gets really loud, and if you are sharing your media on this tablet with anybody else, they will be able to hear everything coming out of it very easily. Samsung does love to add in as much as they can, as you do get the usual bevy of connections with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS, along with an IR blaster for the Watch On application. Now, as far as power goes, you do get a 4800 mAh unit inside of here that powers it for a decent amount of time. I say decent because even though the Snapdragon 800 is supposed to be a bit of a power sipper, the resolution definitely evens it out, gulping up the power and giving you maybe a day to a day and a half worth of heavy usage. An 8 megapixel shooter on the back of the TabPRO 8.4 provides a decent experience, but falls in line with pretty much any other tablet camera. The app takes on the general motif of Samsung cameras, providing quite a bit of functionality, but ultimately not the highest quality, which honestly is expected. The pictures are decent, but you won't be using this tablet for more than probably just your backup camera anyway. The updated version of TouchWiz comes with the new tiled interface called the Magazine UX. Especially on the larger tablets, it really takes advantage of the screen real estate, but still works very well on the smaller 8.4-inch screen. The best way to describe the Magazine UX is it's like a stretched out Flipboard, literally as it is a front end to what you would basically find in the Flipboard app. That being said, it is pretty easy to set up your news sources and your social media feeds, but what I didn't like about it is that it often doesn't take you straight to the content you're seeing. Instead, it makes you wade through the Flipboard application to finally get to your destination. Ultimately, though, it is a nice addition that allows for quick and easy glances at what you probably want to see. But the list of widgets in the Magazine UX is still rather limited, and the app controllers are basically for just the Samsung-specific apps, so if you were looking for an easy way of looking at your Gmail or controlling Google Play Music, you're not going to get it here. Other than that, however, TouchWiz is still TouchWiz. With the colorful motif, even the new move to circular buttons in the power widget actually doesn't really change things all that much. It's still rather bloated and maybe uber colorful, and in the end it still looks like the TouchWiz we all know or maybe love or hate. Functionality like the multi-window does continue to set this UI apart from the others, but if you were looking for a big change in the Pro line, you probably didn't get it here. As this is called a Pro tablet, you are going to be paying a premium price for it. All of the power and the wonderful resolution in the screen will come in at $400, making this a pretty expensive tablet at its size, but for some of you out there, it might make sense to pay that much for this much power. And so, there you have it. The Galaxy Tab Pro 8.4 provides all the power the Pro name suggests, while keeping it all in a manageable size. While the tablet will let you get a lot of work done, it's an absolute blast to use for fun and games, making this the all-purpose device for tablet lovers. The size makes it a shoo-in for ebook reading, for example, while the nimble weight and size will keep it as portable as it can possibly get. Yes, you do pay quite a bit for the Galaxy Tab 8.4, but if you need your tablet to do pretty much everything short of taking phone calls, then perhaps the price is right for you.